Ireland is one of these countries, it's a Céad Míle Fáilte, which means 100,000 welcomes. Hello, how are you? How are you, Mike? How are you? It's the people in it. No matter where you go, if you go to Hong Kong or you go to Taiwan or you go to New York or you come to Cappoquin, it's the people you meet that makes your holidays, because there's beautiful mountains in every country, there's beautiful castles in lots of places and beautiful rivers and beautiful scenery, and the whole of the world is one beautiful place, and that's lovely, but it's the people you meet that makes life. The history of the bakery is that we are a very, very small family-run bakery with 4 generations in the village of Cappoquin in West Waterford, Ireland. We make barmbracks, we make white yeast bread, brown yeast bread, we make sourdoughs, we make Irish traditional soda breads, we make cakes, we make Christmas puddings, we make butter loaves and seed loaves. Okay, I have 25 grams of salt here, which goes in, and I have 9 grams of sugar. Bread is the first food. It's the staff of life. It's a very good way of making a living too, very wholesome. You know, you bake bread for someone, you're nourishing people. You're a doctor. My father used to say, you know, you're a doctor, you have to have it good and good quality for people. And that's what he was doing. He was nourishing and feeding the people around him. He made it a very successful business for his time, and he enjoyed it, but it wasn't his first choice. So that's the story, but it was Joe's first choice. Making bread.
Once I got married, it became my first choice.
As you can see, it is a very old premises, and it hasn't changed very much in 100 years. Making bread, we still make it in the same way, using fresh, good ingredients. The other thing is our principles and values of leaving our money in our local town. And I think that's what makes us unique today. It's part of what we are, that we have stayed small and that we're still survived. And of course the reason that we've survived is because our principles have come back to us. What we give out in life comes back to us, I think. You know, we support people and people have supported us. Of course you have to give a good quality product. You have to keep the thing right, but those type of values that we learned from our father, I think carries on. It's something I'm very proud of, really. So I've always felt that his goodness has come back to us. We've been very lucky, Joe and I often think it's what's gone before us has been rewarded in a different way, you know, that we reap the seeds that we sow. Have you heard that one? This is just the first kneading, and you have to leave it sit then for 12 hours to rise. It just comes on its own. That basically is the sourdough. Yeah. And then we leave it sit here in front of the oven, and I cover it with a sacking, and that takes 12 hours. Would you mind clearing up after me?
No, I'm fine, yeah.
Thanks very much. Thanks, Eleanor.
Don't take me now.
But you're doing the cleaning up there, you have to be taken. Right, will we have that cup of tea?
Far to go, huh?
No, well, we can go around the back. Everybody who came in here loved the home. They all said there was always a lovely vibes in the home. And I think it was the smell of bread too was part of it, you know, that they came in and they could feel that. So that's my grandfather, John Barron, who started the bakery in 1887. In 1884 and 1886, he was out in New York and he emigrated, and she was going to follow him to start their life in New York together. So he wanted to get settled. He had his job and he was to get a house. But when he left, she was pregnant with her first child. When she had the baby, she lost the heart to go to America. My grandfather, being a noble man, he came back. He didn't let her. So they started the bakery here then, you know, and it's still going today. And it means that, you know, it's a very sustainable business because you've had 2 world wars in that time, and we've had a civil war, and we've had lots of recessions, and barons are still making a living on the side of the street in Cappoquin.
Okay, no worries. You can walk. Okay. Thank you.
Exactly, there's the colder mornings, yeah.
So you won the last holidays, so.
Back in the 70s and early 80s, there was what you call a price war with bread. You had a breakthrough in bread making. Bakers got together and put up big factory bakers. They made processed bread, and bread that was baked in under 20 minutes. It affected an awful lot of small bakeries. Small bakeries because the purchasing power of bread went into the supermarket and they weren't able to survive. So small family businesses like ours all closed, and it was brought on by people who were into making money as opposed to making bread. Whereas I come from a tradition of people who were making quality bread to nourish people. And it was about the quality of the bread. But then it became an object to produce something at a very low cost. They're losing all the flavour, all the nourishment to keep people healthy, which is the most important thing in our lives.
It is very cold. It's the east wind. It's the first. Oh, very. Joe had to put up that there to block it because it's an east wind. And I have the wrong trousers on.
Oh no! That's the wonderful thing about the farmers market. It is the comeback to the community, because when you come to the farmers market, they're not rushing. It's a different environment to shopping than anywhere else, and they're supporting the local people who they know live out the road, or a farmer who's growing some vegetables, or a man who has lovely free-range eggs and they make beautiful things. So people come to support it because they're leaving their money within the area of within their own community. Our book was really a tribute to our community, and it was in their honour that we did it. For recognition for them. My father had that principle: put your money where you get it. If the man selling the draper up the road came in and bought your panloaf, he went up and ordered his suit from him. And it's very good to be conscious of where you're putting your hard-earned money, because those sort of things come back to you, because you're improving the service around you. If you're keeping your money in your own community, you're not in it for making the money. That you don't do it. You have to make money, and don't get me wrong, but if you're in it solely for making money, then that'll be the end of it. But you know, everything dies, so nothing goes on forever. But I've done my bit. I've spent 42 years in the bakery, and I've made twice the size that it was prior to Joe coming in.